So a few weeks ago, I'm at the airport, about ready to board my flight. I walk up to the gate attendant and I hand her my ticket to scan in, and she goes, "Oh shit." She looks over at the girl next to her and goes, "I think we have a problem." I'll tell you guys what happens on this week's episode of Mink in the Morning.
I believe it's our responsibility as men to do better every day, to learn from our mistakes, grow through our failures, and work to become the best that we can be.
So guys, I'm sitting at the airport, about ready to board my flight, and I walk up to the gate attendant to hand her my ticket, and she goes, "Oh shit, we got a problem." She looks over at the flight attendant standing next to her and is like, "Come here, take a look at this." And then she's like, "We have to get everybody off this plane. We have the wrong plane." And I'm literally the next person to get on board. And I'm like, this should be interesting, right? So they're talking to each other, and what ends up happening is they legitimately have the wrong plane. And they've boarded about 60 people at this point in time. So they're like, what are we gonna do? We gotta get everybody off the plane. We gotta reissue tickets. We gotta do this whole deal. And so they get on the intercom, and they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we made a mistake, and we have the wrong plane. And we need to take everybody off, swap out the planes, and then you guys can board. We're probably gonna be delayed like 30 or 40 minutes. It's like, all right, no big deal, whatever. But the lady behind me, she's like, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable. How does this happen?" She starts freaking out. And everybody around is like kind of looking at her like, this is an inconvenience, but it's like not that big a deal. They said it's gonna be, a 30 or 40 minute delay, not really a big deal. But this goes on for legitimately like 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, these guys are so incompetent. What's wrong with them? This happens every time I fly. American is terrible. And she's just going on. And she's not talking to anybody. She's just legitimately talking to herself and trying to get other people around her to acknowledge her. Now, how many of you guys know someone like this? They just bitch and complain about everything, right? So she's going on. And finally, I look over at her and we make eye contact. She's like, "What do you think? This is ridiculous, huh?" And I just smile and I'm like, well, you know what? The way that I see it is, in about 30 minutes, I'm gonna be sitting in a flying chair, and that's pretty fucking magical. And her face was like, she pulled out her phone and didn't say another word. And everybody around me was like, like, it was just one of those moments where this lady was like, she had nothing else to say. And typically, I don't engage in situations like that, brothers, but in life, what's wrong is always available. There's always something negative, some problem, some irritation, something that takes place, that's going on, that's gonna happen, right? That's called life. And we can focus on all that shit and pour negative energy and frustration and anxiety into it, or we can focus on what's right. What's right is always available as well. And in that moment, I was just sitting there and I'm like, you know what? The truth is, yeah, is this an inconvenience? Maybe a little bit. Maybe we're going to get to our destination late. Maybe someone might miss a connecting flight. Maybe it's a big deal to someone. But the truth of the matter is, we live in a world where most people are more focused on what's wrong than what's right. And my challenge to you this week, brothers, is to begin to focus on what's right. We're all going to, at times, be blindsided by what's wrong. We're all gonna get caught up in that loop. We're gonna get frustrated. We're gonna get upset. And when you do, it's fine. Just do yourself a favor. Try to take a step back, disconnect from the emotion, and find something to appreciate in that moment. Because no matter how bad things get, there's always something that we can find to appreciate. There's some level of grace or opportunity in those moments. I believe with all my heart that in the most challenging moments are the seeds for the greatest opportunities, for the greatest growth. So this week, get out there and start to intentionally focus on what's right in the world, and I guarantee you're going to see more of it. The more grateful you become, the more you have to be grateful for. I'll see you guys next week.